Hey everyone, in this fourth video of Python function series, I am going to discuss about the difference between print and return in a function. I have already covered point number 1 till point number 7 in first three videos. If you have not watched them, I will put the link of the playlist into the description box. You can go and watch it over there. I am planning to cover the remaining topics in coming videos. But the agenda for this video is just one thing, that is what is the difference between print and return. Here in this table you can see the difference between print and return that I have summarized. To start with, print is a function while return is a keyword. Print displays output to the console or screen, and return it is used to exit a function and return a value. Print value or value that we are printing onto the console or the screen, it cannot be stored or further used, whereas return value can be stored in a variable and it can be used further in a program. Function execution continues even after print, but return exits the function, it stops there can be multiple print statements in a function. Similarly, there can be multiple returns in a function but only one value, and if you notice, I have put a star mark over one value. I will show it with an example. Is returned. Print can be used anywhere in the program. Return can be used only inside a function. You cannot put a return statement anywhere in the program. It can only be put inside a function. The first point, that print is a function and return is a statement, does not need any explanation. The second point was that print outputs the value to the screen or console, whereas return sends back the value or object back to the caller. And I have spoken about it at great detail in part 3 video. Let me copy from here the very fundamental or very basic first function that I have written, and if I run this, you will notice that I am getting 3 here, which is onto the screen, but this cannot be further used. And if I try to use it further in my function using this line, again copying from the previous video, you will notice that I am getting here, upon running this function, two outputs, and I had said that I will be explaining it into the next video. 3 3 and the sum of the two numbers is none. What is happening here? So this add at line number 3 is producing first 3, then again I am calling here add on line number 4, which is producing the second 3, and I was expecting that the sum of two numbers is 3, but I am getting here the sum of two numbers is none. But why is none? From where this none is coming? So here the concept is that if you do not explicitly return anything from a function, then Python by default returns none. If I make these two lines a comment, and what I do here is that I assign this function to a variable called output 1 comma 2, and then I print output. Here you will see that upon running this program, I am getting the output 3 and none. Reason, I am not returning anything explicitly. So first thing is that it is printing 3 because of this line number 2, and Python from its side is returning none. So if I do not return anything explicitly, Python is going to return me none. Now if I use a return statement, I can use this further in my program. So let me copy these lines from here, paste it here, and instead of using print, I am going to here just use the word return. Now here I can say is that output is equal to add 1 comma 2, and if I do like this, and here I replace it with the output, the variable to which I have just assigned, now you will see here is that I am getting this, the sum of two numbers is 3. It means that I can use this output or the return value further into my program. The next point was that printed value cannot be stored or used or further used, whereas return value can be stored in a variable and used further in the program, which I just showed to you here, that I have stored the value here of this program into a variable called output, and I am using it further into my program. Let's move on to the next point, that function execution continues after print but return exits the function. It means that a function can have multiple print statements and it will keep executing those print statements. Return, once it is encountered, function stops there. Return is a literal end of the road for a function. Anything after return is not executed and the control is handed over back to the caller. Let's understand with an example. So if I copy this function from here and again paste it, so here I can say again write print a is equal to a. Similarly, I can write again in the next line b is b, and when I run this program, you see 3, a is b 1, b is 2, so it is executing. So there can be multiple if statements in a function. Return means it is literal end of the function, as I said earlier. So if I come over here and instead of this, what I do is that print, I use the return, and then if I copy these two lines of code from here again and paste it here, you will notice that none of these two lines are executed when I run this program. And here you will notice that it is just going to print 3 and nothing else. So anything that I have written, and if you notice, the color of print is very different here. Next difference is that there can be multiple print statements in a function, but there can be only one value that is written. There can be multiple returns, but only one value is written, and that I am going to show you right away. I have already shown that there can be multiple print statements in a function, and all of those are executed depending upon the condition. But even if there are multiple returns, ideally there should not be, but depending upon the conditions, if you are putting doing some conditionals like if else, then there can be multiple return statements, but again only one of them will be returned, and that is why I have put here a star mark. If I come over here and write a function called def check grade, in this function what is going to happen is that I am going to enter the marks, and depending upon the marks I am going to decide the grade of a student. I say if marks is greater than 80, then return grade A. If marks is greater than 70, I am saying return grade B. If marks is greater than 60, then return grade C. If marks is greater than 40, return grade D. Else return grade F, I say. Now at the bottom I am saying marks is equal to, I am going to accept the user input, convert it into, typecast it into integer, enter marks, and then I am going to print the grade of the student, check grade, and here I am passing the marks variable. So this is the program. I don't know if it is visible or not, so let me bring it a little bit lower, and okay, now the complete function is here, almost kind of. In this function you can see that I have used multiple return statements, but depending upon the marks only one of them will be executed. Now if I run this program and I say marks is 86, now let me bring it up above and increase the font size again a little bit. So I am getting grade A. So this if condition is getting satisfied, so I am getting grade A. Remaining if part it is not getting into that because the very first condition is getting met. So all the remaining return statements are being ignored. If I run it again, and this time if I say marks is 44, now I am getting grade D, because first three conditions, 8 marks is not greater than 80, it is not greater than 77, not greater than 60, fourth condition is getting matched, so I am getting grade D. It means that there can be multiple return statements in a function, but only one of them is getting executed. And the last part was that print can be used anywhere in a program, but return can only be used inside a function. If you try to use a return statement outside a function, then it is going to throw an error. Let us see it with an example. I am simply going to define two variables, a is equal to 10, b is equal to 20, and I am going to write here return a plus b. And now if I try, and you can see I am already getting something red underneath the return. It means that it is indicating an error. And if I run this program, you can see here is that I am getting syntax error, return outside a function, which clearly means that return cannot be used in a program without a function, so it has to be inside the function only. That's it for this video. I hope you have learned something new today. So do not forget to give it a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel. Till that time, happy coding.